going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for another OPTC video, and in today's video, alongside the 3 Super Sugos for New Year's comes the 6+ of the Super Suga Trafalgar Law. And in today's video, we're going to break him down, see his buffs, see how good he is, because these particular buffs to these older characters is what makes New Year's and these big celebrations way more exciting for you long-term players, or some of you free-to-play players that aren't going to get all of these new characters. But Trafalgar Law Inherited Will of Silence does get a nice chunky buff, and I really like that they make him work exceptionally well with the level limit break of V1 Corazon. It's an exceptional buff. It works very, very nicely, and we're going to take a look at what this particular unit does. One of the first Super Sugos came for the anniversary a couple years ago alongside Luffy and Kid. Luffy also has his 6+, but we're still waiting on Kid, which is going to be nuts. Slasher Cerebral Final Tap unit, 12-turn cooldown with limit break expansion, has barrier penetration, recovery bind, and final tap. So very, very interesting limit break abilities. His special is going to reduce one enemy's HP by 20% that ignores defensive effects, boost Dex, Cerebral, and Slasher characters' attack by 2.75 for 2 turns. I believe that it's increased by 1 turn. That's the big buff here. If your captain's orb is Dex or Wano, he applies increased damage taken to all enemies by 1.75 that ignores immunity, 1.5 times otherwise. It was always 1.5, now they've added the extra 0.25. And if your friend captain has a tandem orb, he's going to boost Dex characters' super type effects by 1 turn, and boost damage dealt to effective types by 3 times, normally 2.5 times, and then changes his own orb, including block, into Dex. Now, this is where Corazon level limit break is perfect. He gives the Dex orb to your captain, he gives the tandem orb to your friend captain, and then with this law, you can literally get everything. So it works exceptionally well. That way you get all these extra buffs. But the 2 turns is great for intimidation. The extra damage taken is awesome, and this particular buff that Kid Law gives is really, really strong for these bigger damage teams as well. His captain ability boosts Dex, Cerebrals, and Slasher characters by 5.75. Apologies for moving on there. When HP is full, and now has the overheal mechanic at 2 times, so that way you can stay at this 5.75 a lot easier. 5.25 other ways, and 1.3 HP gives you a lot of sustainability. He makes orbs matching in strength and quick, plus he heals 0.5 times his recovery for every perfect at the end of the turn. As a sailor, he does 100 base stats and makes Dex orbs matching. He has a really, really good support at 12% of his base stats on any Dex character, which is actually going to be really, really high, because like this attack stat, this HP stat, this is all without limit break, and this is all without cotton candy. So that's going to be a really, really nice buff. His super type goes on, well, basically you need any of the supernovas or Corazon to activate it. So again, Corazon's just great here. He reduces 3 turns of paralysis and attack down, which I believe Corazon only does 4 turns of. So now you're getting a lot more buffs with these 2 together. Heals 30% of the crew maximum HP. Corazon heals as well, so that way you can just easily get to that max HP threshold. And rotates block orbs into matching, making Dex into Super Dex. Remember, making the Super Dex at 3 times instead of 2.5 is actually a really, really big buff too. Oh my gosh, Stump, stop clicking that button. His final tap did get a little bit of a buff, but it's nothing too crazy. Basically, he does 3.25 times damage to defense down enemies, as long as you're above 70% of the on the final stage. He also does 20% of the percent damage of the enemy's HP as tap timing damage. Now, this is great for getting around resilience. This is great for like hitting big super bosses that don't have Grey Shield, but nowadays you're not going to really use this too much. But overall, look, he's a very good 6+. Like he's a very strong unit, and definitely one that needed a buff. I like that they're co-aligning units with like Corazon and him and making them work hand in hand. And I do think he's going to be very, very good for players moving forward. Slashers are getting a huge buff this New Year's as well. So having that Dex tag means he works really well with Zoro Sanji. He's going to work really, really well with Yamato. But I'm really interested to see what they do in Rumble. With Rumble for endgame players, I believe this is where 6+s really shine. And I'm really interested to see what they do with this guy's counter mechanic. The sprite looks exceptional. I love the sprite. He's a defensive style unit on a 25-second cooldown. I think that definitely went down. He targets himself for a 2 times counter stance, targets 3 other Dex types for attack of a 2 times counter stance, and then targets enemies in the large range for 2.65 times damage, and then targets 3 Dex teammates with low HP for 2,500 healing. His special ability is going to give HP up level 7, attack up level 6, and when you're less than 70 seconds, you get defense up level 6, speed up level 5 for your Dex team. It's actually a really, really good passive, actually. Once you hit that 70 seconds, you're getting a lot of buffs. Like a lot of buffs for Dex. His burst and his GP stuff does 4 Dex teammates 2.5 times counter stance, and then gives a leader, targets 4 enemies for leader-based attack of times 3, which is, it's okay, it's nothing too crazy. And then his passive gives Dex teammates speed, HP, crit level 6, quick teammates attack up level 5, defense up level 3, and guard up level 5, whilst then Cerebrals get attack, defense, and speed. You're not really ever going to run this guy as a GP leader, but honestly, with these new buffs, I could definitely see him finding a spot on some sort of like Dex slashery build for Grand Party. Not as a leader, but like if you're doing stuff with some of the new characters and making some Dex slashery kind of builds, this guy could definitely see some play on the team. Overall, like I said, I'm more impressed that they're doing stuff like this with 6+. Giving Super Sugo 6+ is a must, and I definitely think they need to speed this concept up to actually start catching up, getting units in line with the current meta, as well as then giving level limit breaks to some of these older characters. But let me know your thoughts and opinions of Law in the comment section below. He's not super broken like the rest of the New Year's units, but it's definitely a really, really nice buff for a long-term favorite in Dex Law. But if you enjoyed the video, bell like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. Most importantly, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one.